Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of Shoot the Breeze, chill interview segments, and a chill time all around for you and me. I'm your host, Xavier Divider, and right here with me today is a very chill individual who, no matter what environment he's in, wherever it be, you're always going to have a good time talking to him, as well as a very relaxed individual, a relaxed person as well. Somebody who you can always have a good time talking to, again, be it a small group or just like a giant party scene, no matter what it is. He's pretty much known as AngstySnow, but we call him Angsty for short. So, welcome, Angsty.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing just fine. Doing just fine all around. So, Angsty, I got a question for you. This is the first question we got right now. How the hell did we meet?
Oh, Lord.
It's been a while, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, no, okay, that's like the number one, question I have to ask myself when I'm looking at my friends list at this point. Just because so many times in VRChat, you meet someone, late at night, you just partying or something, and, you meet someone, and you have no recollection, because you look at your friends list the next day, and just well, I just met every famous streamer.
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of spoiled me, though, because because that was the only one question that you sent me that stumped me, and... God, yes, he said it, so it was ad. It had to be ad friendly, because...
Yep, that would be right.
Yeah, no, so, and I thought about it to try and remember... God, because with ad, I met so many people, because he would just, he has the personality of just introducing every single person, like he's known them his whole life.
Oh, yeah.
So when he met you, I remember. I feel like it was I had to be a box world or something, and we were just chilling or something like that. Because it had to be that was back when you were still in your Iron Man kind of suit.
Yeah, the dapper Iron Man suit. I was still in an Iron Man suit at that time, and then I kind of upgraded to a more dapper version of it. And off the top of my head, I believe I met you during. This was actually in a Friends of Guest Pug, and basically Ad was running one of his bits on hand about basically. I can't remember what it was, but I think it was what can bleach do for you or something like that. And basically he had this game show sound in the background and basically playing it, and he just kind of started asking people questions in the weirdest way. And I think I responded with something on hand, and then afterwards or so, you were there too. And I just remember a blue-haired elven girl walking up or so. You were sober at that time.
Right.
You were sober at that time.
Yeah,
I'll let you know.
Sober. I was sober. Okay, I do remember that bit because I believe that a lot of people would give him the response of, well, you can go kill yourself or something mean to him or something like that, and he would usually just turn that around really fast.
I just basically treated it it was, I just went along with it and just treated it basically why, as a matter of, I think it was why, as a matter of fact, when I drink or so, I could feel myself losing weight right about now, and then I basically just passed, and I just fake passed out or something like that.
My god!
I just remember that was a while ago. That was early 2018 when that happened, because I couldn't think how exactly could I respond with this or so. It was just off the top of my head, improv wise. But yeah, after that or so, besides Ad or so, I also got a chance to see you again through Hazard as well.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I saw you around. We just have the same group of friends, I think, because I remember I would just see you around Hazard. I would swear I would see, because I wasn't friends with Lolathon back then, but I'm trying to remember who I was friends with.
Yeah.
I might have seen you around CC, because you wanted RP stuff back then. That was just shitting around and God, that was when I was at, was that still when I was at, no, that was after I got VR, but before I got, because I used to be on desktop, and that's just even worse.
Yeah, I was part of CC's group, where basically at certain points or so, I would just hang out with him, and I would hang out with him no matter where it was or so, and just be able to have a good time talking around here and there. And then I kind of have this drifter kind of thing, where basically I just kind of drift around, just trying to get the chance to meet different other people out there, get to know some different other ones. Just because, it's one of those things where you never know if you're never going to see him again or so. So it's might as well be able chance to go meet everybody you can while you still can. So
yeah, I mean, especially in VR, because with like how many hours like I have at this point, I feel like you just meet. Like I always make the joke that you can like if you just people are just like, well, I want to go talk to this streamer. Just play the game. You'll meet them eventually.
Yeah. I guarantee you,
You
VRChat
will.
is like the smallest world possible, where basically no matter what it is or so, you're always going to bump in the exact same person twice, if not 3 times more. Like, it could be by accident or just by random chance. You know?
Yeah. I think someone said like on average right now VRChat is like 1,700 people on, which back then I think it was like half that.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. It was half of it. Like 800 or so.
Yeah, it was like because like right after the Knuckles peak, the game like population just.
Yeah, it just fell down.
And then
it had like a certain rise on hand.
Yeah, and it was like certain things that would bring people back, but like for the most part, like it was just like people who were like into VR or into VRChat because like he had like friends who played it. And to that extent, it still is. I mean, that's the reason I play it is because my friends are in it.
Oh yeah, especially when you just have like that great connection with everybody, no matter who it is or so. Even if how far away they are, you're able to have like that great connection to be able to talk to people. But speaking of VRChat, I would like to ask about your origins or so. How exactly were you able to come across VRChat and, your humble beginnings of what started it?
Okay, so like many people who got on the game around my time, I discovered it through. I was watching Stealth RG, aka Chips, on Twitch. I was watching it right after like the whole nuts thing started with him, and when that happened, there was a lot of people who just like basically just started streaming at the same time, just because they were like, and like no one knew what they were doing. And I remember I was watching Nanoade when she got rated by Stealth, and that was like 800 viewers from 50 viewers to 800, like all at the same time, and they all saw that she had a rent donation goal, and they just like immediately fucking crushed it, and they just kept going, and she like broke down and was just like, I don't know what to do, I have to give this money back, I have to give it back, and then like out of nowhere, ad pops in, and ad freaking just goes, and no, you shouldn't return it, those people are trying to support you. And he basically makes like just like the cleanest argument, and that was before ad like ever talked, so that was like a big deal, because like you would see him around on people's streams and stuff, and he was just like, and so he was just like, he freaking unmuted, and like everyone like just came to a halt, because like back then no mute ever unmuted ever.
Oh yeah,
and so I saw that, and I sorry.
No. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure Ad was actually one of the pioneers behind like soundboarding too, right? Like in VRChat.
He was pretty much the first. He was the first big one. I'm gonna say he walked so Radiant could run. But I just saw that guy, and I was just like, that dude has a good head on his shoulders. He seems chill. I'm gonna go follow him. And I just watched his stream. He wasn't even streaming VRChat. He was streaming PUBG. And I was just like, I don't have a computer. I didn't have a computer at the time. I had a MacBook that was like half dying that I was like using, and I was just like clipping him on Twitch and stuff, like because he was funny. So I was just like clipping everything. It's just like, and you had to have mod permission to put clips in the chat. So he was like, dude, you're here all the time. You're clipping so much. I'll just give you mod here. And he gave me mod. Q a few months later, he does a stream where, and we didn't know this because it was his first sellout stream or whatever, and it was me, one other guy who was modding at the time, and he reaches his donation goal in like maybe a few hours, and then he's just like, okay, for the rest of the stream, all donations go to the mods. And me and the other mod were in Discord just like, what? What is happening? And and as soon as he said that, someone immediately drops $1,000. Because they know that me and the other, because they knew me and the other mod were flat broke at the time. And that right there changed my life, because I was able to buy a PC and slowly after that, I was able to work my way up to VR by getting a job in real life. But without that, like, swear to God, that was like perfect timing, because a month after I got my PC, my MacBook died. Full motherboard just burnt.
Damn.
So that was just, sometimes timing works like that. But
Yeah, it does.
so that was just my origins. I guess I got it through. Without Twitch support, I literally wouldn't be playing this game. So
yeah, it's just kind of wonderful where how little wonders like that just change people's lives altogether, no matter what. Like, you could just be like, no matter what it is, it's just like the biggest curveball where it'll just come out of nowhere, and then basically it just feels like the greatest weight on your shoulder has been lifted, and basically you could just kind of like be able to do so much more, and just be able to enjoy and just be there for everybody else, you know, just because your own problems just was immediately just like evaporated.
oh, dude, like, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like it solved every single problem I had, but like, I didn't really have many friends when I was in college, and that was like that was like a weird time in my life. And I wasn't in culinary school yet, so I didn't know what I was doing. I just was kind of drifting, and that kind of gave me some ground, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand fully, or so. Especially when just like a lot of things can happen in real life, and then finally you just find like that one thing that basically you're able to latch onto and just be able to have like a great time together, because it's just like the perfect escapee from all things considered, and then it just basically brightens your world much more as time goes on, and then just does much other things for you. Like, really, it's just kind of a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
So.
and that's why I never tolerated, like, when I got my PC, I never tolerated people talking shit about streamers ever. And that used to be much worse. Now it's not as much, but like when you went to public world, it would be like people constantly just saying, there's a streamer in here, let's get the crash gun, and it just like,
yeah,
they would just be like, or they would just go up and say racist shit, or like trying to get them banned or whatever.
Yeah,
and much. To an extent that's still around, but like, y'all, if you're that hateful, just you don't know that the streamers are people also.
Yeah,
that's just kind of how it feels.
Yeah, they're people, and it's just they're people, but at the same time too, not only are they people, there's people who just want to try to brighten everybody else's day with something different, even if it seems like it's something completely, offsetting from the way it looks. It's just they just want to try something different they just want to be able to try and just, do something of their own here and there for all intents and purposes. So for my next question on hand, I would like to ask you is basically hobbies on hand that you have besides this game or so, because I know you're a very good chef.
I mean, very good. I'm a baker by trade. If there's any food Discord any Discord that has a food channel, chances are I've probably spammed my food that I've taken pictures of before into it. Yeah, that's probably I guess that's technically, that's my job in real life technically. So I guess that's not a little more than a hobby, but yeah, I was also a lifeguard for 5 years, so I know how to swim. It's nice. It's better. Teach your kids how to swim, and also don't run.
Yeah. I like the fact that you bring up swimming when we got like a giant ocean behind us. So.
Yeah, dude. I mean, ocean's common, man. Like, yeah, I'm a Californian, but like, it's like.
Oh yeah.
The shit.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Especially just the view of it, no matter what it is. But besides that, you being a chef, you being also a lifeguard producer beforehand, did you ever have any other games besides this that you would play beforehand? Or so say like any other multiplayer games you ever fall back on? Like if you just wanted to relax, if you just want to try something different, like not take a break from VRChat, but basically like you didn't feel like getting on VRChat for one day.
Well, right now, I've been playing Valorant more lately. Before that, I did back when people played Overwatch. I played the hell out of Overwatch. But before that, because like I said, I was on a MacBook Pro for a good freaking few years. And anyone on there will tell you, you want to play video games on a Mac? Good luck.
Yeah.
Because I played Necopara on my MacBook, and you had to use something. So it's something called Wine, basically, to run Windows through a Mac. And Necopara, a visual novel, would lag when I was playing that game. When I was using my MacBook.
Jesus.
It literally uses less resources than Google Chrome, and it would lag.
I mean, to kind of pitch it in there or so, I once had like an HP, it was an HP laptop, and I had it.
Yeah.
I had an HP.
Was it Windows Vista too?
Oh, it was just like Windows 7, but basically, it was so bad I couldn't play Team Fortress 2 on it.
Yeah, the HP is. Someone made a joke. I think it's like. What did I say? HP stands for. Not computer. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Those things are hunks of junk.
Yeah, I mean, especially when in the sense of they mostly make it for just like businesses or so. But when you're looking like for a really good like HP gaming like laptop or basically or so, like it'll have its good standards it'll have its good standards on hand for what you can work with or so. But I feel like maybe the quality of it doesn't last too long or so, depending on what it is.
Yeah, and they're designed to break, and I know that because I did have an HP laptop when I was real young, and I played the hell out of MapleStory. I would play MapleStory Friends, and so the fan design on that laptop would be like the back of the fan, there'd be like a fan blowing the hot air out or whatever, but on the bottom of the laptop, so it was on your lap, and all the hot air would go one place. So I did this really bad. I had a burn mark on like my leg as a kid because the stupid thing like basically just burned me because I was anyone who played MapleStory or RuneScape, I played both at the same time, will tell you you're gonna be sitting there for quite a few hours.
Jesus. Yeah, so, that sucks. That just sucks so hard. Damn.
Yeah. I mean, no, it blew hot air.
My God. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, for you playing MapleStory or so, it'd be just kind of like it had the good times, and then you just kind of feel your leg, and then you have the bad times on hand. It's like both best of one world and bad of the other world, especially when you had like a laptop that can only do so much. So, but
yeah, that was the times. I do miss MapleStory every once in a while, but MapleStory 2 wasn't for me.
So, my next question for you on hand, and basically, I know you've been around quite a lot, where basically you've seen like different environments on hand, like different groups here and there. But the thing I would like to talk to you about is the whole VRChat party scene on hand. Now, the thing about it is with everything entirely, especially with like different communities out there, like you've seen like your fair share of like different things happening here and there. But the question I would like to ask you is like, you could tell when there's like something different between each party that goes on hand, or basically it'd be like a matter of like different styles of how people do certain things. And I would want to know is basically based on how you go to like different environments, no matter what it is or so, how do you approach like say different people, since everybody's got like their own, I guess their own ways of how they hang out with other people or so.
I mean, that's interesting, because like for a while in VRChat, when I'd get on, it would be basically a lot of people would just be drinking, like pretty much every night, and that still is prevalent. But like for a while there, I want to say for like a good 6 months in like 2019, maybe late 2018, early 2019-ish, like it got like everyone was like going super hard for some reason. It was like the summer that happened every Friday through like Sunday would be like the hardest people would possibly go, and I'm kind of glad that's toned down a little bit. Like people still drink. Do they drink in this game? They do drink quite a bit, and I'm not shaming anyone, since I myself made the mistake of probably drinking too much and had to cut back for like a while, because I drank almost a month straight once in this game, just because I was unemployed and out of school, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. And I think what happens is people will get in this game just to vent. So like a lot of the times, most party scenes is pretty much the same. It's like people just either chatting it up, drinking, or combination of the two. If you want to make a friend in VR and you're in a party world like that, like immediately just find the first group of people that are just like talking. Just say shut in like a high pitched voice, and like you'll probably get like 30 people around you immediately.
Like immediately you got their attention.
Yeah, and not to say you have to drink to like go to any of these events or anything, or join our worlds. It's just groups of friends. So like, you don't have to feel like that. It's a little different when you're in like public worlds. Like Lord knows, Void Club is like a completely different environment for most people, and
I heard stories about that actually, like about Void Club.
There's literally Yeah, and the joke with the Void Club is always that people were being, lewd or whatever, but that's kind of true, but also kind of not at this point, because most people in this game, public worlds aren't as big as they were, but like for a while that was pretty much it. You and me though, when we were first playing, it was the Pug.
Yep. It was like a
late
Prince Pug. So.
Yeah, late nights at the Pug were always just pretty much people wilding out. It would be that, or like Gaia nights, or if someone was being sad hours, they would take them to the near Automata world or whatever, the like the flowers everywhere.
Yeah, the flower world. I remember.
Yeah, that would be where you take someone who's having an emotional breakdown, basically.
I also remember too. There was like one before the Void Club. There was like one party world, not a party world, but there was like one club world I remember or so. I think it was like what was it? It was like I'm trying to think here, because before the Void Club there was like something else that was kind of like close to it or so. I just remember that at one point or another that
the Vault maybe.
That might have been the Vault. Yeah, might have been the Vault, but I remember it was just kind of like before that and everything else is just like you always had like the simplest worlds. You would just go find people, like they would be maybe in a presentation world, Gaia Night, pretty much the Pug.
Presentation world I feel like if there has to be a world that's underrated, Presentation world would have to be one of them. Because I remember when like there was like so many more mutes, that world was always smooth as butter, even when you had like 30 people in it. So you would have like a bunch of mutes like writing with like friggin' crayons or whatever, and you'd be like trying to decode whatever they were saying, and eventually it would just spell out like something like "you are a bitch," and you just like slap them.
Oh yeah. I remember that well. It's also a perfect world for like, say, for people who are artists and everything to be able to just like express it there with how smooth it was or so. Like that entire.
I remember seeing I got in a world after Rubber Ross got through it, and like there was like just like a bunch of drawings just like everywhere. They're just huge. It's just like so many people in this game have like just insane talent, and will just like crank that shit out, just be like, that kind of sucks, done.
Jeez. I mean, well, one thing I will say too is like from that kind of worlds we used to have on hand, just like compared to like say the worlds we have like right now, like what's around us or so, it's like you get to see the different qualities that happen on hand compared to then and now, just for the just the feeling of it. Like even if it's not like a party world or so, at least you could be able to see the great quality of just how you feel with everything around you. And it's really nice too, because it's just something you can easily just take in now, just because it shows the true beauty behind VR entirely of what can be created.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, back then people weren't making really worlds for VRChat. They were just doing what they like. They were just like, well, I can throw this into Unity real fast, I can put it out, and then people can actually go into it. And like that wouldn't always work, but like sometimes it would. And like I think a good example is like there is the MMD world. That's not, I won't say what game that's from, but it was definitely not designed for Unity, and they just made it, and then it became like people were just like, oh, it's a nice little stage, and we can just use that for whatever. And then for dancing, we got like Gaia Night. It's like huge now, but remember when it was like they have the Gaia Night Classic version now, but for a while you couldn't go to it. It was just like, and people missed that little small. It looked so small now.
Yeah, it was small, confined, and base. It was small in the sense of basically you could be able to see where everybody is or so and be able to hang out with them. But when it's like the new Gaia or so, it's like you have so much space on it. It's kind of hard to figure out where everybody else is, or such. So much to explore.
Yeah, and I remember like the first big world that I can think of was like, I forgot the name of it. It was like a huge like forest world where you would just like walk through, and it would just be, you would just like, there wouldn't be anything in it, but it would just be, it's just like weird, like just walk through, and it'll be like abandoned towns and stuff. And it's a weird thing, just like walk through a VRChat map where it's just like, where's the end?
Yeah, where's the end to this?
Because usually in a VRChat map, it's just like, it's usually just a mad dash to the mirror, like half the time. So it's just like, where's the mirror? Where's the mirror? I can't survive.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, and the whole meme from it too, like that was actually pretty rampant, like 2018. Just like the whole mirror meme, just came out of that just because of how people just kind of like saw that rather than everything else around them. And one question too I would like to ask is like the other thing is about different communities you have, different communities that are out there or so, and I know there's probably some very interesting communities that are like in that gray area you've seen beforehand here and there or so. But out of all that or so, have you seen like any, I guess in a way or so, any thoughts of like all the different other communities are out there or so? Because I know there's like a gray area with VRChat. At the same time, there's like this black and white kind of thing with VRChat. You would see it on Twitter, or you just see people talk about how certain times they get a little bit out of control for certain things here and there.
Yeah. I think it's funny because every single community kind of, to an extent, now not usually that bad, but sometimes you'll hear it's like they'll be talking shit about each other a little bit, for lack of a better term, and I think that always like made me laugh because it shows a little bit of tone deafness. Every person who doesn't play this game thinks that no matter what community or group that you're involved, you are a weirdo who plays VRChat, to an extent. Like you play VRChat in the game where everyone's a giant titty girl or Knuckles or Ugandan Knuckles or whatever, and like but play the hell out of it. It's a great time.
Yeah.
And like, doesn't matter if you say you're an RPer, doesn't matter if you say you only get on for YouTube, doesn't matter. Like you're all the same. You're all kind of the group the same to normal people. That's just how it is. And I think the group that probably just in game that gets the most shit is probably the RP people. And I know the reason for that is not that they're bad. It's just because I feel like, okay, you'll see, oh, well, this drama's happening because this RP person posted on Twitter or something. And it's like, no, that's not at all what happens, because like with RP, the reason like you don't see any of the like RP people like defending themselves in the same lobby you're in is because they're busy fucking RPing. Mm-hmm. Like that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of planning and just a lot goes into that people just don't see. So they get like the most crap, not just because of that too, but because they're kind of the most prevalent on Twitch a little bit to an extent, because it's, let's be honest, in VRChat, you're basically just talking to people. So doing improv or stage plays is a really good way of using that. It's like, and RP to an extent is improv.
Yeah, it is improv. And not only is it improv or so, in a way or so, it's also, for those who don't stream or anything, it's also a good way for basically, it's a good escape too, which I will say basically is a really good escape from like anything that's happened there, just because you just want to be somebody else for the time being, just so you don't have to think about certain things here and there. So sometimes it helps in a way or so. It's like it's a good way for it, as well as just being able to show your creative side of stuff you want to try out.
Yeah, and I think that's fine, because like we have like all these like artists and stuff. There's a reason there's more like artists and like people like who are like creative on the RP side, and that wasn't always the case, but like they usually drift toward it at some point, and that's just because it's a good outlet for being artistic in a way, because VRChat, you're just talking to people, so like what are you gonna do? You're not gonna do much.
Yeah, you're not gonna do much, and that well kind of runs a little bit dry too, especially when you can only talk to so many people at times or so. But if you're gonna turn that into content or so, it's gonna run away fast, just because you're just trying to like poke people to be able to get a conversation at them and such in a weird way or so.
And that's kind of where like the bad reputation for like streamers comes from in the first place, was people probably poking just a little too hard.
Yeah.
And although it's pretty obvious whenever someone's streaming, just because it's just like, hey guys, I have a giant logo above my head that says Twitch.
Well, that went away fast. Like.
Yeah. It kind of did. Some people kept it.
Definitely kept it on. Well, I mean, probably if you haven't seen them so often here and there.
Yeah, and I don't blame people for turning it off because like they were getting crashed because of it. But yeah.
Yeah, I will admit I kind of fall in that kind of party a little bit at that time, just because I didn't really know what to do in the sense of VRChat, because I assumed that basically based on how certain things are, it just kind of like seemed like, you know, if you interact with people or anything, have like a good fun conversation or so, maybe that's the way how VRChat is, just because it's a social game. But when you think about it outside, but when you take that piece and remove it or so, you realize there's a little bit more stuff you could do in VRChat than just doing that. You could just be a really good creator with different things on hand. It could just be RPs. It could just be like, you know, interview segments. It could just be like showing off how different things. It's just like thinking outside the box with it mostly and not going for the straightforward aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like I was talking about Stealth earlier, like since he was like one of the first people to watch it. He like the reason he had his viewers was because he was doing something different. He was going around, and people don't see it as much, but he still does probably. He would just go around singing to people, like that would just be it, and like no one had done that. No one like had thought about that. Like anyone who like thinks that like, and then we had soundboard users who were like getting able to like make memes real fast, and then like, God help, like if you're doing like avatar creation in this game, like Lolathon, where like you have to like you're just like cranking new stuff out. The people who like last long in this game, and especially with content creation, are the ones who are able to innovate the most, the fastest. So like anyone with a good idea just to like use it in this game, you feel like the well's gone dry, but I don't think it has. I think it's just hard. It does. It's not, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but figuring out the people who figure out the next thing are gonna be the next big streamers in this game. That's just how it is.
I can see how it would be hard just because of the fact that, you know, it's like that, you know, being what am I thinking of, being like not observant, but basically you see the glass half empty or so, but basically there's still water in it. It's just a matter of basically how do you approach to get water. You can't do it with like a bucket now. You got to do it with something else or so. Different direction.
I used to stream the game myself, like, and the only reason I stopped was because I kept lagging, and I didn't feel like the experience I was getting in the game was the one I was streaming.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if I was like gonna lag in a world of crash immediately, because my computer couldn't handle it, then it didn't feel like it was worth it to me to stream it, because that didn't seem like good content for me. Like, that was not really the way I was trying to do it.
I feel you. No, I feel you, and I understand that fully, because like I said, pretty much like you said, like, it's just kind of hard to do something like that, especially nowadays when, like, VRChat itself is just, it's still trying to fix itself, like, with different things on hand, especially with, like, different updates or so, trying to put out some new different things so people can try some different, different aspects of it that they could put out for, like, models, worlds, and everything, and still try to keep it stable, because that way, who knows, sooner or later we might be able to have like 70 people in one room and still be stable where nobody crashes one day. But we'll never.
That's the dream.
That would be the dream.
That is the dream.
The closest thing, that'll be the dream, especially on New Year's.
Yeah. Oh man, New Year's parties in VRChat. Any holiday right now, like 2020 sucked. Mm-hmm. It just does. I'm not gonna say it's gonna stop sucking anytime soon. It just does suck. It has sucked. It's continuing to suck. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I will say, every holiday in VRChat has always been like big, but now with everyone kind of at home, it's been like twice as much. Mm. Like this New Year's party before 2020 even started, like really was just like, I saw people in game I haven't seen in like since I started playing who were getting on.
Same here.
And that was wild. I was like going to Worlds and it'd just be like, oh hey Nuts next to Ross, next to like half the big people who don't play this game. Then you go around and it would be freaking like Oh yeah, over there. Yeah, that's Peach Jars. Do you know them? I'm just like, yeah, I do. And yeah, she's next to Jenilyn Meowry, or like a bunch of like famous people from Twitter, and like it would just be like you'd go around, and these wouldn't be private instances either. They would be friends plus. If you had like one friend out of like 60 people in there, you like, or like more like 50, but you still get in, and it'd just be like, okay, that's like a lot of people.
Yeah.
What is happening?
A lot of people and a lot of things
Same
to take
thing happens
in.
around Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, same thing happens around
I-
Christmas. Just to be able to find that world to see, like, go see your friends, and then you see, like, people you haven't seen in a while, or just be like, see faces you didn't think you'd be able to see, so, just that kind of feeling on hand. So
that is one thing I'm wondering about this year is, with everything going on, Halloween's probably going to be pretty good in this game.
I feel like it will be.
Like, because no one's going to go trick-or-treating this year.
No, definitely not. I would actually be surprised if it'd be like a giant Halloween party will happen where basically like everybody we know or so will probably just end up meeting up in like this kind of like, I don't think it would be like in one room, but I feel like it'd be like this separate event or so where basically you just see everybody together or so.
I mean, like, we had, like, that. We kind of had, to an extent, had that. Like, the pug always changes its colors and stuff, like, every holiday. Although, the other big one I was thinking of is St. Patrick's Day. Like, Lord.
Good Lord.
You get a bunch of drunk nerds in this game. Whew! That was, I think people, because... what happened was people got on for St. Patrick's Day, and it was on a Wednesday, too, last year, I think. People got on, and it was like the next day after, next week, no one got on because everyone was still hungover for like a week.
It was like the moment. It was like it's kind of like that weird peak where it's just like it's at its highest point, and then basically you just see it drop like halfway down. It's like, oh god.
Yeah, nah, people did not come back for a minute after that one.
So. My other question I have on hand is basically the VRChat Current Present right now. And since I know you and I started like, I'm pretty sure you started like early 2018, right? Or so?
Yeah, kind of, because I was watching, and then I kind of got, everything that happened I explained earlier.
Well,
yeah.
I kind of started in between like 2017 2018, but I was going to ask, basically, based on that current time when you first started, with everything you experienced when you first started for the first time, and to all the way here we are now and everything, you could pretty much just tell like you could just tell like a lot of things have changed here and there. Is there like certain things out of this game you would really miss from back then, or certain things that you're glad that things got changed over for what we have now?
That's a good question. I do feel like when you first, because I have 3,000 hours in this game. I do feel like when you first join, it is a very different game. Like, when you, like, I suggest to anyone who, like, gets burnt out in this game, go make an alt account where you're, like, a mute or something real fast. Because the treatment you get in public world is completely different. And it's not even like like the game hasn't really changed, like, because it's just people. So like a lot of like interactions you'll have will still be like very genuine, and that like I think that what drives this game is the genuine like interactions people have. Like it's ridiculous, but like you'll have like there's like a YouTuber, can't remember him, but he was like talking to like a kid in like a Kermit avatar. And the kid was just like talking about like the struggles he deals with, like dealing
Seymour?
with like autism and stuff.
Was it
Yeah.
Seymour? Yep.
Seymour or something like something like that. Great video. That was great editing, and like but you kind of like overlook he's in a Kermit avatar. Like that's silly. That's a silly thing. I'm in a, for lack of a better term, I'm in a big titty fox girl like avatar, but
there's a person behind it.
Yeah, that's the thing. All the people are still people at the end of the day. So like, even if there's bad shit, like when people get burnt out in this game, what that tells me is they're also burnt out with talking to people in real life too. Yeah. And I don't blame them for that, because Lord knows I've been there too. Like sometimes you need to take a step back, and like I said, try making an alt account every once once in a while, just to experience like when you first start this game again, because I'm kind of glad I'm not like a bigger content creator, because I do see people who are like in this game who are just like, they can't, even if they make an alt account, people will hear their voice and just be like, oh, you're such and such, I remember seeing you on YouTube, hey everybody, this guy's a famous streamer, look at the famous streamer.
Yeah, especially when people just need that break from like, because keep in mind, like you said, we're all human beings, and at certain points we all need our time alone or here and there, especially when we just need time to relax here and there. And it's kind of hard to do that sometimes, especially when you're really big, like, you know, like Hazard, or just like
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people say, there was that phrase for a while, it's like the VRChat boomers, they're like, I miss the old VRChat when things were better, and I'm just like, did the game really change? like I feel like it more has stayed the same in this game than has changed. Like, obviously things have changed. Like, we have better maps now. Yep. The overall, the UI is different. The nameplates, like everything with like that whole
technologically wise, it has changed, but for when it comes to like the core of it or so, the only thing that's changed is basically the people coming and people going. The whole feel of the game is still there. It's just basically different people.
And that first time getting into VR in this game is pretty much unlike any other feeling like you'll get. It is not like it's a weird, like, emotionally, by the way, not physically, but like it's weird just to like go into this game and suddenly, and I miss the old hub world, and you just immediately be thrown into, because they don't screw around, you're immediately thrown into talking to people. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
So, and they would just like throw you in, and you just be like, oh hey, how's it going? And they would just be like, and sometimes you get an asshole, and sometimes you'd get someone who's an asshole, but at least they're funny.
Yeah.
I'd probably be the second one.
Well, either way or so, it's where you're so. No matter what way you are, Angsty, when it comes down to it or so, you are pretty much a very sociable person to be around. Like, be able to vibe off and just be able to, like, you know, get to know somebody. Like, it breaks the ice, really. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, having that, I mean, just being able to talk to anyone, I mean, that's the whole game. I mean, I don't think I'm the most sociable person, and Lord knows my name's Angsty, so like people assume I'm like, you sad? You having a bad day, son? I'm just like, nah, I'm vibing. I'm vibing.
Where exactly did Where exactly did your name come from, AngstySnow?
Alright, so when I was, I used to have an Xbox 360. I still have it somewhere. When I was on Xbox Live, this was my gamer tag. So I just never changed it, because I was just like, well, I can think of something, but then people are gonna think I'm weird for changing it, because it's like, well, did you dislike your name? I'm just like, no, I just wanted to take that. And like, I've tried changing it before, and I got too much Shadow the Hedgehog in me, man. I always think of like edgy stuff still. Like, I'm just like, I want to make an alt. Someone just like said you should make an alt account where it's just like the exact opposite, and I'm just like, all right, so I'll be Happy Sunshine or something, because that's the opposite of AngstySnow. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That would actually be funny if you actually did that, because I would take a couple people a minute. Basically, just imagine if you did that and just basically take people a couple minutes to even figure out who you are or so, without saying anything mute-wise.
Funnily enough, I do have an alt account where I'm a mute. No one has figured it out that's me. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna take it to the grave who I am on that. But I still think it's hilarious that people will treat me. They don't treat me that different, but like they do. You know what I mean? Because it's like they're a different person.
I see.
And now I don't do the eavesdrop, but like I'm just going around chilling. So like it's just weird.
No, I feel you. And like I said, we always need that different aspect on hand, just because that way you just have that reminder that, like I said, the game's still the same, no matter how well it goes, what direction it goes, it's still the same. The feel of it, just different people and just different technology. So I have one last question for you, and this is the one I was going to ask. Pretty much right here in this camera or so, I would like for you to let everybody know, especially those who came by to support you, what is your goals and dreams? Or if you don't have like any, if you don't have like any certain goals or so, what would be the best advice you can ever give to anybody, especially for all the things you experience? And I will take a step back and let you have the entire floor here, because that way, basically, not putting you on the spot, but basically just be able to have you have the entire floor. So that way you can just say whatever comes to your mind for what it would be it your goals, dreams, or any advice you would like to share.
Okay. Best advice I can give is expect the unexpected, kind of. When I first got hired, when I was a lifeguard, when I was a teenager, I was just out of high school, I had one of the older lifeguards teach me, and he always told a story where he was working at the coast, and he saw a guy out in the middle of the bay, swam out, grabbed and pulled him to the shore. Half his body was like just gone because he'd been decaying for like weeks at that point. And at that point, he called his boss, and he's just like, what the hell do I do? And you just gotta react. You gotta do you just do what you can. It's basically what you gotta do. And that's advice I can give you is don't ever feel like your best isn't enough, because sometimes things are out of your control. Just do what you can. That's advice I can give you. Currently, my goal right now is to get my computer back going. I'm getting a new one. I'm gonna stream again. I miss it. Even if I didn't have any viewers, it's fun. Streaming is fun. It just is. And being surrounded by people who know that it's fun is way worse, because I get to see all my I'm supporting all my friends constantly, and I only wish them the best. I'm fucking jealous, not gonna lie, because they can all do that. So I'm gonna do it too. So shortly I'm gonna be streaming again, probably in the next month. Just fucking be excellent to each other. That's all I got.
No, that's all good. And like I said, I will say, out of all that or so, I'm just gonna tell you, I appreciate your brutal honesty. Like, really, more than anything else, because you've always been good at that. You've always been brutally honest, no matter what it is.
I'm blunt because I don't got a filter.
Hey, that's fine. Hey, I appreciate that more than anything else. I'd rather you just basically be straightforward and be blunt about it than just basically try to go around it. Anything else? But yeah, guys, that will be episode 5 of Shoot the Breeze.